man's got fire and a wild hot take. Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Laughing loud when your team goes down. Straub boys run this sports town. Show! Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. College game day and Thursday night. Rivals fall and the banter flies. We bleed our teams till the day we die. S-T-R-A-U-E. Two loud mouths and a love for the league. From Cleveland roots to the world we go. This is the Straub Pro Sports Show. Show.
Welcome everybody to another episode of the Straub Bro Sports Show. Running a little late today because of Little Bro, but either way, with that being said, welcome aboard. Little Bro, how we doing today?
A message to the kids. A message to the kids. Don't become important at your job because you can't leave work early ever. No, I'm doing fine. I have come to the terms that right now my sports teams suck, and I'm okay with it right now. I gotta just accept it.
Yes and no on that answer. Some of our teams aren't playing. One of mine sucks and then doesn't suck, and my footy team sucks and doesn't suck. So yeah, we all about there. Cuzzo's in the building. Yep, I'm putting some up there bigger, even though they're on the screen. But nonetheless, we got a big show ahead. Sorry, I had to get the music off. Too many things going on in the background. Our sound engineer isn't here today, aka I can't do the job at the same time. But nonetheless, yes, our teams are up and down. We're gonna laugh and we're gonna make fun of them because that's what we do best here on the Straub Bro Sports Show. With that being said, let's start with the game that, although it kind of hurt us at the end of the day, there are no losers in that game. We previewed it last week. It was a big one for us. However, it didn't necessarily go our way. And that was the Army-Navy game. Navy 17, Army 16. Drew, our Black Knights almost got it done. Navy went out to a 7-0 lead. 13 second quarter points by Army. A field goal in the third quarter had given them a 16-10 lead, but a 4th and goal late in the fourth. Navy connects with a pass across the middle. They win the game, and yes, I cannot echo this enough. I don't know what you can see on the screen, so I'm gonna put the important ones up. But yes, a tough loss, but a close score as it should be. All the pageantry, all of the ceremony that is the Army-Navy game, it did not disappoint. The weather is, as always, bad because it's this time of year, and that's what it is. But yeah, a great atmosphere, a great game, great flyovers, all the above.
No, you're absolutely right, and I agree with Nate there. It should be close. And so when games are close like this, it comes down to the little things, and little things like Navy converting 11 out of 18 for third down, and Army only completing 3 out of 10. It's one of those ones, and it's also time of possession. Navy almost had 10 minutes more of possession, so they were able to control the clock so that on that last drive, they took the lead and was able to kind of let Army run out of time there. No, but a great game. One of those games that kind of signifies the end of the regular season. And now, obviously, we're going to talk about it on Thursday, but now comes the serious bit. Now comes put up or shut up time for a lot of teams.
Absolutely. Obviously, Tuesday is a review. Thursday is our preview. But I mean, and if you didn't need, I'll give you one anyways. I mean, Thursday we get it rolling because this weekend is those 4 games on the outside. We've got Oklahoma and Alabama. I don't know the times on everything, but we will preview all of them on Thursday. With that being said, that's all I've got on Notre Dame. No, I'll keep going. Actually, let's talk Notre Dame. No. That's all I got on Army Navy. Like I said, we're gonna preview these games on Thursday. So I'm gonna throw it up to you, bro. Do you want to go into some hoops now, or do we want to go into some hoops now? All right. So, little bro, we've split up the hoops. I've taken care of the NBA, you've taken care of the college. We've been asked for it, and we shall deliver to the people today. Let's talk some college basketball, men's and women's.
We're doing men's for now, and then once we get rolling, we're gonna show the women's, and we're gonna get into it. I did not want. We can talk about the women's. I have everything up and ready.
Right.
It was more along the lines of we're previewing, and I'm also getting feelers for how I set this up, if we like it or not, and then we adjust from there when we go both.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so I was thinking about this basically all week, trying to think about. Listen, when we talk basketball, right, it's got to be very different than how we talk about football. Because when we talk about football, if we're being honest, the top 25 teams are the ones that matter. And because those are really the only ones that have a shot in getting into the top 12, right? Because that's the 12 teams are the teams that matter. When it comes to basketball, you have 64 teams that end up mattering at the end of it. And
it's
so
like 8 or like it's like
yeah, because you have 4 extra ones, right? And so the first one is going to be the top 25 because there's going to be some talking points. But afterwards and in going forward, I have a new format that we're going to talk about. And that's what I think I want to get your guys' opinions on. But first, let's talk about the top 25 because there are some interesting things that I want to kind of get into. Where it's up on the screen here. Obviously, your top 4, Arizona, Michigan, Duke, and Iowa State, having great seasons, predicted to have great seasons. This Duke team looks really, really good. This Iowa State team, always very good as of late. Obviously, we'll see when we get into the Big 12 schedule, but Michigan looking great. You have obviously UConn, your Purdue's, your Zagas, your Houston, Michigan State's finally back up into the top 10. Your Blue Bloods. What I wanted to talk about first are those 2 teams in the middle of your top 25, and that is number 13 undefeated Vanderbilt and number 15 undefeated Nebraska. Because those are 2 teams that, honestly, if we think about men's basketball, really truly aren't what you think of when it comes to your big teams, but especially this Nebraska team has been absolutely dominating teams. Just to give you an example, recently they beat number 13 Illinois 83-80, as usually Illinois dropped down to 18. They blew out Creighton. They blew out Wisconsin. They had a close game against Oklahoma, but they still beat them. This Nebraska team is one of those teams that if they this Big Ten conference has a lot of powerhouses to it, right? You have your Michigan States, you have your Michigans, you have your Purdue's, Ohio State every once in a while as a tournament team. And so Nebraska, very similar to kind of how Indiana is in college football, is that team that really never has been good in basketball, but the early trend right now, especially because they're getting in the conference games and doing the same thing, is this could be a legit team come tournament time that can make some noise if they stay the track that they're currently doing.
I am the complete opposite of the way I am with college football that I am with college basketball, and I'm not going to lie. So I'm just mad that you don't want to talk about Cameron Boozer. I'm just mad that you don't want to talk about Caleb Wilson.
That's what you're here for.
Listen, I'm here for the stars, and I'm here for the blue bloods. I'm here for the Arizonas and the Duke. The fact that Duke and North Carolina are both up there in the top 10 makes my heart happy. Spoiler alert, we love us some Notre Dame basketball over here, but it's dog shit, so we just kind of keep it rolling. Okay, now our women's side, that's why I'm kind of upset with you because we weren't talking women's today because we'll talk Hannah Hidalgo and I'm going to run you out of the gym mentioning her name.
potentially maybe as to why this wasn't setting up this way.
That's fine. You were trying to rope me in today. That's fine. But you just don't want me to talk Notre Dame. That's what this is punishment for. But nonetheless, I'm here for the big dogs. Okay. I love the fact that St. John's is in there too, because St. John's is an old school blue blood. What Patino's doing over there with them boys is amazing. BYU, and I got to grab the kid's name, AJ DeBansta. They've got a great draft prospect too. I'm here for the top guys. So that's how we're going to kind of split this up this year. Drew's going to tell you about the sleepers. Drew's going to tell you about some underdogs, as he's talking about Vanderbilt. Shout out to Vanderbilt having a good year as a school. That NIL money was flowing in this offseason. I'm gonna pick out the stars. I'm gonna talk about the top dogs, but I do have to say, and listen, I will say this as a football fan, I hate them, but like I said, because I don't have true men's basketball loyalty because my team is garbage, I will say that Michigan team is really looking good. They are legit. I do believe so is Duke. For once this year, UConn is back. I mean, I'm surprised, but I mean, I'm not surprised, but we had talked about it last year. Is Bobby Hurley finally kind of running his, time out there at UConn, but they're back. Shout out to my man Six is in the building. I appreciate you. And he changed up his picture for you, Drew, so he can get his comments up on the.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Listen, we're all just trying to get paid here. All right. That's
right.
all it is.
100%. So, but yeah, listen, like I said, I'm here for the big guys.
And so if we're talking big guys here, there is one thing I wanted to mention.
Where's your Bearcats?
Being absolute garbage. We're not so honestly. And you know how much I have. No. You know how much I have backed him up. We are fully on the fire Wes Miller train. This team has regressed so bad this year. I'm ready for a clean slate. Anyways, there is one team that we normally see on here that we don't, and that is Kentucky.
Yeah.
And what I will say is they are 7-5, and so they are. It's not a great start for this Kentucky team. However, this has been a brutal start in terms of who they had to play. Losses against Louisville, Michigan State, North Carolina, and Gonzaga, which are all top 10, top 15 teams. And so it'll be interesting to see Kentucky in terms of they obviously always mostly have a brutal schedule, but those are usually that brutal schedule is usually split where they win 2 or 3, they lose 2 or 3. They have not won a big game yet. And they have St. John's coming up on the weekend, which we'll get into. So that's kind of what we're looking at here. But Ken, you discussed it. It's kind of that split, right? Where I'm going to be talking about your sleepers or your thing. You're going to be talking about the big dogs.
And go ahead.
I was going to say, go on real quick.
Something that makes me feel very old is not only am I watching, and I almost called him. I had to double back because I almost called him Carlos Boozer. I know Cameron Boozer. Watching young Mello too, just makes me feel so old. Watching guys that I grew up watch. I mean, I'm a Mello guy. Okay, like Mello with the braids is something you young boys don't know nothing about. But to watch their sons be balling out is nice, but it makes me feel old.
I'm sure. But to even further push that kind of dichotomy, I have made an amazing
big words today.
Listen, I'm still in my job mode, To further this, I have honestly, I think what's a really good graphic and connects to basketball, something that when it comes to late in the season, we all check very regularly, and that is the bracketology.
Oh my God. My man is pulling out bracketology week, whatever.
No, but I think this is a perfect way to kind of implement, instead of going through all 25 teams where some 25 play garbage teams that win by 30 and anything like that. This is a good way to say, okay, we've seen the games. Where does that actually affect things? Because we're not going through all 64 teams, and the top 25 teams aren't all that matter. And so we are going to first talk about like these 1 seeds. We've all talked about it. Michigan, Iowa State, Duke, Arizona, your 1 seeds, your legit 1 seeds. Right now, Michigan is the number 1 seed right now in terms of those 4, just because of how good they looked. But I think all of them have a chance to move and everything. So that's obviously that is going to be your bread and butter. You're going to be probably able to talk about Boozer as much as you want. You'll be good to go. However, these ones here are where it truly is interesting, because your last 4s and your next 4s and your first 4s is where the real drama gets to. And so Ohio State, we have talked about them obviously at length on football. They don't got a bad basketball team, if I'm being completely honest. They're starting off the season pretty good. They're pretty low in terms of the Big Ten, because just the Big Ten is stacked, but they're 8-2, with a buzzer beater win, over West Virginia the other day, which was a very good win for them. A lot of close matchups, and so they're kind of near that bubble there. We'll talk about a lot of these teams kind of later on when it starts to get down to the nitty gritty, but this is the format that we're going to kind of bring into when it comes to college basketball. And obviously at the end, you'll see your college breakdown where they think how many teams are going to get in per conference. And so obviously the Big 12 and the SEC are usually the big dogs when it comes to the end of the year. Right now, projecting 11 Big 10 teams right now. And so not your normal topper when it comes to the conference, but something to note going forward, how highly they rate the Big 10 this year.
So I got to step my college basketball research up because my little bro is coming strong. Mom is in the house. First of all, love you, Mom. Second of all, you kids don't know about Melo with the braids was a problem with the headband. Like, you kids just don't know. Okay, moving on. I love this. I think this is better than just dunking into the top 25. We'll show you the top 25. I'm gonna throw out some guys to watch for the week, or guys who have had big weeks, and then Drew's gonna update you on this absolute nonsense, or way too early. It's December, and we're talking about March things.
Well, and like I said, this is something that is just going to be kind of a throw through, and will impact the matchups that we will look at. Obviously, like I said, because some top 25 games are sucky, right? You have a 25 team playing a 3-12 whatever. We're not talking about that unless they lose. But there's going to be bubble games when we get down to it, right? 2 unranked teams that are on the next 4 in or the first 4 out, and you want to know about that matchup. And so obviously, like I said, this week, Louisville at Tennessee, 11 versus 20. Butler, a current bubble team, going to UConn in the first conference matchup of the Big East. Saturday slate is amazing. St. John's at Kentucky, Ohio State at North Carolina, Houston at Arkansas is a blockbuster game, Auburn at Purdue, Duke at Texas Tech, all great matchups. Vandy at Wake Forest on Sunday, and then Missouri at Illinois on Monday. And Ohio State, when are they getting in the top 25? Hey, they beat North Carolina this week. They did get a couple votes in this last AP poll. It is very likely that if they beat a North Carolina team in North Carolina, they are going to jump into the top 25.
Yeah, Ohio State's got a good program. I mean, they dumped way too much money into the football team, so there's none left for the basketball program. I'm joking.
They got Aaron Kraft in there?
Yeah. I love this, minus the fact that I love you to death. The only time I'm watching some basketball Saturday is if I need something in between the college football playoffs and the NFL, because we've got some NFL games on Saturday too. But weekdays are where I'm starting to tap back in. So I will be watching Louisville, Tennessee tonight. I will check in on UConn. Yeah, dude, you killed it. I got nothing. Okay. So, like, if we can talk Hannah Hidalgo for a minute. Like, I'm all about it. I can switch over to my NCAA women's side. I got the page already ready to go. So
I know you do. I know you do. Of course you do.
But if not, we can talk some. I apologize. We can UConn running away with it right now. Where are my Lady Irish? 8-2. We're okay though. We're at number 20. But
Yeah.
we're all right. We're ready for tournament time. No,
And obviously this will become more into effect when we get to like February and stuff like that. But just wanted to put the format out because obviously most of what we're going to talk about are going to be matchups throughout the season because listen, we all know the basketball doesn't really matter until we hit March, but there's going to be good games along the way that we're going to show you guys you can check out because who doesn't love good college basketball?
absolutely. And we got nothing else to talk about. NFL and college is winding down. I want to talk
baseball.
You dove in on the college side, which is normally my thing. I went to the professional side. I've been binge podcasting my basketball stuff, catching up on some stuff, some storylines from the beginning of the year. But let's get in touch with the standings. I cooked up a little something special for you. These are your current, up to today, Eastern Conference standings. Ken, why are they split up into 3 different colors? Well, I mean, if you don't know, I'll explain it to you. Your top 6 seeds make the playoffs. 7 through 10 go through the play-in. 11 through 15 into the lottery. So I split them up into where they are right now. On the Eastern Conference side, let's keep it straight right here at home. There are not many pundits, fans, students of the game that would have predicted the Cleveland Cavaliers to currently be sitting in not just the 7th spot, but in the play-in right now. Drew, what the hell is wrong with this team? And are we a year late on blowing some of these things up that I have and other Cavs fans have been screaming about blowing up for 2 years now, aka trading Darius Garland?
Anyways, we're moving on from that. Not even gonna register that question. No, I think that I think everyone is getting just way too concerned. When have we ever, as a basketball watcher, ever been concerned about where teams are in the regular season? It is similar as to freaking out if the Guardians were 15-12. It's the games don't truly matter until we get to the playoffs. And yes, this team has looked disjointed, and I'm sure we'll have to iron some things out. However, if we're going to be completely honest, I know people don't like playing this card. Darius Garland missed a lot of the first part of the year. Sam Merrill is currently missing. Evan Mobley is missing multiple weeks. Jared Allen missed stuff. Larry Nance Jr. has been out extensively.
And I was excited.
Right. And Max Strus still hasn't touched the court. And so when you look at this, right, you have so many key contributors to this offense just not being available, right, at the start of this season. And so I can't definitively look at this right now, 27 games in, when I don't think once we've had a full strength starting lineup or a full healthy team and say, I'm concerned. Because, listen, there's nothing that you can tell me that I can't argue back and say, yeah, but if it's healthy, I think that changes.
The healthiness, yes, but this team is shooting awfully too. Okay. When your stars, Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, are shooting under 50% field goals, you're not going to win every night. Not with the way every other team in this league can just get hot for a night. I mean, this team lost to Charlotte the other night.
And almost lost to Washington.
Right. 2 of the worst teams in the NBA. The 3-point percent shooting isn't great. I mean, it's not just that guys are missing. When guys are in, they're not shooting well. It's still early. However, I do have a question for you. It's a similar trade situation, Hail Mary thing to throw out like last year. First of all, our name has been mentioned in the Giannis Antetokounmpo trade. I would trade Evan Mobley and whatever they wanted for Giannis and pair him with Donovan Mitchell, because the last time Giannis had a decent guard, he won a championship. So that's number one. Number two, There's another superstar that when I've been diving into the rumor mill and those kind of podcasts, our name has surfaced with a certain superstar who doesn't play all the time. However, when he plays, is one of the top 5 players in the league. And that's Kawhi Leonard. Would you entertain either of those?
I'd entertain Giannis, maybe. I cannot get behind a power forward that has rarely touched the court for more than a half a season in the past 5 years. The like with Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? He's had maybe one injury,
Greg is with
right? Well, he's had maybe one injury, right? His whole year in terms of like lengthy timeout, right? And other than that, he's been a top 10 player. Kawhi Leonard feels to me similarly to if we were in a couple years ago traded for Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving, in the sense of, yes, in their best moments they are virtually unguardable and they change games. But the issue is that one, they're going to ask for an absorbent amount of money that's going to not allow us to build around him, and two, the fear of him either being hurt or just not being motivated enough in the current situation to really give it their all is something that completely turns me away from Kawhi Leonard whatsoever. Giannis is going to give 1,000% wherever he goes. If he did it in Milwaukee and has stayed as long in Milwaukee for as long as he can go anywhere and do the same thing. Kawhi, it seems like it has to be a perfect fit and he has to stay healthy for it to work out.
I agree with you on Kawhi. He doesn't play enough. And this is a team that's got injuries. Here's the problem. We have to be...
You're not going to get Giannis without Mobley.
Listen, we're not playing 2K here. We got to be real about this conversation, okay? If you're going to go out and get Giannis, you're giving up first-round picks and you're giving up Mobley, period. End story. This.
Yeah.
The problem for the Cavaliers, because I've got too much NBA information, with the way the salary cap works, the Cavaliers basically have to make a straight up 1-for-1 deal. And that's really, really hard in the NBA. And that's really, really hard when you're trading for a superstar. Now, listen, let's not get it twisted. I love Mobley. Okay. I've said he's the next AD. He's what we thought AD could be. I've given him all of that love. He ain't there. And Giannis is on a different level. So if there is a way to get that done, I would absolutely do it. Because like I said, the last time you paired Giannis with a healthy, in their prime or right out of whatever you feel their prime is, in those prime years guard, he won a championship. Don't get me wrong. I love me some Dame time, but Dame wasn't there anymore. That's what
Can we say Giannis is still there though?
Oh, I absolutely can. Absolutely.
I don't know. Just at 31, obviously his game heavily relies on his athleticism. You don't know how long that's going to last. That's what I'm thinking. Where Mobley, literally, I assume he can drive, but he's probably closer to that. Let's see. He's 24, and so you are not seeing prime Evan Mobley right now, in terms of like him being 26, 27, 28 and like fully reaching his potential. But I don't think you're not in a Guardians window, right? Where it's like, okay, we got 2-3 years and that's it. Our owner has specifically stated he is willing to pay whatever the taxes, stay above the curtain, whatever, to keep this team as a contender. And that means that you're giving Mobley 4, 5, 6 more years to truly make this work. And I think that's also a big thing where Giannis, you got 3-4 years and then you're going to start to see a decline most likely. LeBron's an anomaly. You can only, certain people can keep that level for so long. Mobley's got those 6, 7, 8 years still to go.
I agree with you. I agree. You know, I love big. The NBA is about
Yeah.
stars. You win with stars. So if there's an opportunity to get a star and our names involved, I'm gonna open my eyes. I'm gonna sniff around.
You can entertain it, but I think like you can at the end of the day, you got to think about the logistics.
Of course. Now I want to get to Ray's point because Ray's point is great and it's annoying at the same time. This team, I've seen this team healthy, and they ran through the regular season, and then they struggled their ass off in the playoffs. Now this team did get hurt later on in the series, right, against the Pacers. So no, we didn't see it healthy then, and then Halliburton goes off. I mean, he ran through everybody. So, excuse me, when a guy has a year like that, sometimes you gotta just chalk it. But
but that Pacers series, Hunter and Garland and Allen both got hurt. So
my problem is, and this isn't me anymore. This is the scouting report around the league. No matter what, at some point, Cleveland is going to play Darius Garland. And when that happens, you can attack him because he's a complete liability on defense. This is no longer me picking on Darius Garland or being upset. These are just facts. So the problem is, as long as we are reliant on him as an offensive player to run that second unit and to be one of those guys down the stretch, there's going to be a problem.
I mean, I think you're right, but I think we can look at championship teams in the recent past with guards that are basically the entire offense, but have a liability in terms of defense. Obviously, Steph Curry comes to mind.
We're going to talk about him in a minute. I love the Lakers, but they can't guard a point guard to save their lives.
So, and this is what I'm saying, where you have championship teams that had a major liability with a player that they were going to start and rely upon, but they were able to kind of cover those weaknesses with other stronger guards. And so I think that's kind of where we're at here, where I don't want to. If we continue to put Darius on guys that are they're stars, yeah, he's going to get burnt. But if Kenny Atkinson, I think he's a great coach. I think he has a great mind for the game. I think it's up to him to say, hey, Darius Garland, a real good strength in the transition, in the passing game, in movement. Let's harness that and then hide some of his deficiencies on the defensive end by moving stuff around, by making sure that he's not, getting screened onto their top guy. It's all about just adjustments going into that latter half of the season. I don't think those were made last year. And so I think, and also he was hurt. And so I think that's where it is. I agree that a complete liability, but I don't think that it's not an Isaac Okoro moment, right? Where he was very awful offensively, but his defense kept you together. And then once his defense declined, we didn't re-sign him. Garland has a very good advantage on the offensive end. And so I don't see that slowing down anytime soon. And then if it does, then we can have that conversation of, okay, Garland really isn't worth it to us anymore. But I think right now, in terms of plus minus here, I think he's more positive than negative.
And I mean, it's a little bit of this and not. Yes, there is effort involved, but at the same time, he's just an undersized, smaller guard. In this NBA where damn near everybody's 6'4" and with a wingspan of 6'9", he's going to be in trouble sometimes. The problem I'm having is the Eastern Conference is wide open.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, I love what Detroit's
doing. The
third
team has 11 losses.
That's what I'm saying. Like the Knicks are the Knicks. I mean, there's a ceiling there. I do, and I have heard of this very much, that Giannis is interested in being in New York. I mean, that's going to include.
You can blow that up, but oof.
I mean, like I said, when you have a chance, superstars win championships. When you have a chance to get one, you gotta go get one. Even if sometimes they're aging. I mean, I'm sorry. Like, Shea is now a superstar. Whether or not you like the way he plays or not, boom, they win. Who won before that? Steph Curry and superstars. Who won before that? I'm sorry, Jokic, a superstar. Who won before that? Steph Curry, a superstar. Who won before that? LeBron James, a superstar. Like that's who wins championships. Yes, you can build teams around a guy who's maybe not the top 3 guy, but you can't usually go lower than 5. Like unless you get a Magic Pistons year or something like that. That's who wins in the NBA. So when you got a chance to go get a guy, and New York is a big city. Guys love to go play in New York.
And here's my thing, though, and I think I want to tweak your phrase a bit. I can't say young, or I can't say superstars win shit. They do. I think it's young and in their prime superstars win championships. Because if we look at our quote unquote superstars in the NBA, right? When we look at them by champions, it is very few and far between that we have someone that's over the age of 30 win a championship, right? Steph and LeBron, and that's it. And everyone else, it's
and Kobe.
In the 90s. This is a very different era of the NBA where Giannis was still very young. Shai is young. Jokic is young. All of these guys are super young superstars coming into their prime. And while I think Giannis is still a superstar, there comes a point where is what you're providing with the team worth it when it comes to what you're going to have to give up to get said superstar?
I understand that. The problem for some of these owners are, I can't go get Shea. I can't get Luka anymore. I can't get Jokic. Who can I get? Okay, I can get Giannis. Okay, I'll go for it. So that becomes the problem.
Then you have a Kyrie and Durant in Brooklyn scenario where it just sucks.
Yeah, but you know what? I would rather, and this is a basketball thing. This is strictly for basketball. I'd rather go all in with the chips in on a generational guy like Durant and one of the best point guards to ever live in Kyrie Irving than be here you go. I'll pull it back up. To be the 7-18 Brooklyn Nets. I would rather have a chance with those guys. And don't get me wrong, Michael Porter Jr. has been playing great recently, but I'd still rather watch Durant and Kyrie in a playoff series fail than I want to watch Michael Porter Jr. put up some great numbers on a 7-18 basketball team.
If we were 7-18, I would say absolutely. We're 15-12 and we're hurt. I think that's a difference.
Very, very true. Very true. All right, let's switch over to the Western Conference. Yeah. Shout out to my
who else do you want to talk about?
Shout out to my guy Bill Simmons, who got DraftKings to put in some odds for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Over 70 games. Can they get to 73 plus? Like, this team is damn good. They still have guys that they're working back in. Yeah. Chet isn't all the way fully involved in the offense yet. Neither is the other kid who just came back, whose name I want to call Jalen Johnson, but I don't think that's correct. This team is ridiculous. This team is great. And the other thing is, and this is credit to Shea, and this is credit to the defense. If they're within 3 with under 3 minutes, 4 minutes left in the game, you just are like, damn, we're not going to win this game. They have a chance. They have a chance to break Golden State's all-time season win.
So did we.
But we ain't built like this. Okay,
we were at the beginning of the season last year.
No, I'm sorry. We were good. We were beating up the teams, but we weren't built like this team is. And the question now, truthfully, in the Western Conference, because I'm hearing this from the people that matter, is yes, Denver has a superstar who we know can carry and do things in a game that are just, we haven't seen numbers wise in 30 years in Jokic. And the Rockets, who are playing, I know they're sitting 5th, but what they have with what Kevin Durant's doing there and what they have, if you're anybody else, we might have to do something to try to chase Oklahoma City, because Oklahoma City's looking at the regular season like this is a warm-up. We're looking in the playoffs and down the road. The Lakers, listen, I love Luka. I love LeBron. I love watching them play. They're getting run out of the gym against the Thunder. Wemby, excuse me, that team's a year away. Or two.
Yeah.
Wemby's just so damn good that he's going to win them games and they're going to be high in the standings, but that team's not ready quite yet. The Minnesota Timberwolves don't have enough.
I don't even need to talk about the rest because
I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Steph, but like no, Phoenix, no, Memphis, no, Utah, absolutely not. At some point, what is anybody else in the Western Conference going to do?
No, I think you're right because listen, I can rattle off these numbers, right? Oklahoma City, second in points, second in field goal percentage, first in point differential, first in points allowed. This team is ridiculous, and obviously, I'm sure at some point they're going to cool off. That's how this works. There's only been like 2 teams in NBA history that have like looked this good throughout the entirety of the season, and one didn't even win a championship. Thank you, LeBron. But I think you're absolutely right. Where Denver can obviously give them a run for their money just because I think they match up somewhat okay against Oklahoma City. And I think Houston, if they can truly get one more generational run out of Kevin Durant, I could say, yeah, but even that's a maybe toss-up. I think you're absolutely right. I think the rest are kind of looking at this Oklahoma City Thunder team and kind of praying for something to go wrong there. It's kind of how I feel bad for the Western Conference because, listen, you had Steph and Clay and Draymond for 5-6 years, and then they're finally starting to fade away, and now you have another team that's literally built the exact same way where they built through the draft.
Go ahead.
I was going to say they built through the draft, and now it's not like they have these guys on, like a 1 year, 2 year deals. These are 3, 4, 5 year deals where they're going to have to see them year in, year out, just running through the playoffs and hoping a team can catch them slipping or they run into some injury problems.
You had that Steph and Golden State team. You snuck in a Lakers bubble championship. Then Jokic took over the conference. And the minute Jokic has kind of slipped up, they've got into injury issues, retooling the team, all of that. Here comes Oklahoma City and the Western Conference is gone again.
Exactly. It's like at least the East. I know everyone says the East is weak. At least it's fun to watch in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, it's not
you have good games.
I mean, I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, yeah, the East is kind of weak, but it's also just wide open. I mean, the Jason Tatum injury kind of has opened.
The notion is always that the East is weak. If for the longest time it was LeBron's Eastern Conference championships don't count because the East was weak. Last year the East was weak because the Pacers made it and Boston and yada yada. It's always been a notion. So I'm just saying, regardless of what side you're on that, at least it's going to be competitive in the playoffs. If Oklahoma City looks how they do going in the playoffs, it's going to be a Steph Curry going 16-0, going to the finals.
Daniel's ready for baseball season.
As am I. However, I enjoy this, but listen deep down. Give me baseball.
Let's be real. Unless you're a diehard, none of us really knew basketball had started. We've been too locked up into the college football playoffs, into the NFL. So I don't knock it. That's why we're bringing it kind of slow rolling it in this week. I have one more thing to talk about, and it is about the 14th seed in the Western Conference, the Los Angeles Clippers. Drew, the Chris Paul debacle, they sent him home, cut him from the team. Like, apparently he completely didn't get along with Ty Lue and wasn't speaking to him. Have we seen, I'm going to broaden the question, when is the last time you can remember a superstar flaming out and going out this bad without some kind of injury or absolute real life catastrophe, controversy that would have taken care of it anyways? Because Chris Paul has become not a great basketball player anymore, but we've seen that with guys, and even with the greats, we've seen it. But have we ever seen somebody just kind of almost just fade away like he has? You're talking about the point guard of my generation, along with Jason Kidd and Allen Iverson, although Allen Iverson was more too, but Chris Paul was the man.
Yeah, I mean, the two names that come to mind, one is, I think, Paul Pierce.
The one thing I would say about Antonio Brown is the off-field stuff was kind of took care of.
The root cause, yeah.
Right, and him losing his mind. But I would even say Paul Pierce had a retirement kind of thing.
that
Like,
he kind of pushed himself, if we're being honest.
ain't nobody here to see you.
Like maybe Paul Pierce, maybe Shaq, just when he went to like the Celtics and the Cavs, just like you just look and you're just like, wow, this dude's a shell of himself.
I mean, even then, like you were young, the media covered the hell out of Shaq being in those places.
Yeah.
Like we didn't even care that he was in LA. We didn't
That's
even
fair.
care that it was back to Lob City.
I think the issue is that with Chris Paul, right? Obviously, one of the greatest basketball minds kind of we've seen, knows the rule book up and down to the detriment of the other team and the anger of the other team, is so smart when it comes to the basketball and
a notorious nut puncher.
Just absolute, like just a great mind of the game. And I think the issue with him was the mind is still there. Every team he went on, that team got better. The Wemby team got better. The Suns looked better. The Rockets looked better. He never went to a place and the team was worse. Well, I'm just saying, he never went to a place and the team got worse, right? The issue is, and I think this is what was starting to happen, is the legs gave out. You know what I mean? The cut, the ability. And I think the issue is probably, Ty Lue or some of the other things. Hey, you're going to be a role model. You're going to be a guy that's going to show guys. And sometimes guys just don't want to do that. They want to continue playing. They want to keep, performing night in, night out. And unfortunately, sometimes the tough talks of, hey, you don't got it anymore, those don't go well. And I think that was a case here where Ty Lue gave it to him straight up. Chris Paul told him where he could shove it, and then this happened.
I would have trade him to Charlotte. I mean, maybe
I don't know if anyone wants him. I think that's the problem.
I know. It's sad to see a goat go out like that.
You're right.
Seriously. And when we rank basketball, I know we all get into the LeBron and Michael all at the top, but I mean, there's thousands or hundreds of these guys. I mean, there's a top 75, and you could take another crop of 25 and argue through every single one that they should belong there. For the record, Dwight Howard belongs in the top 75.
Absolutely.
But I mean, you're talking about one of those guys. Chris Paul is one of those guys. He's one of the top 5 greatest point guards of all time. So yeah, sad to see him go out that way. All right, Drew, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're diving into
basketball today.
I know we got into some hoops. We got a lot to talk about Thursday in terms of the college football playoffs and that. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we are going to discuss the NFL. Who do we think is going to be? Oklahoma City.
Hold on. Oklahoma City, and then let me take a quick little. I'm used to it being on the same thing. You know what? Just for hold on. Let me find the comment right here. Here it is. Just from a man right here. Give me the Knicks.
All right. Knicks in Oklahoma City. I'll take Detroit and Oklahoma City.
JB's gonna blow it. Come on now. You know it. JB's gonna blow it. Get out of here.
Oklahoma City in 4. Oklahoma City in 3. But yeah. All right. So yeah, give us a second. We're gonna take a break here, and then we come back. Let's talk NFL. We got a lot of big things to talk about, including my stinking ass Cowboys.
Yeah.
Today I want to talk to you about Ani's Army Foundation. Started by Mark and Lynn Meyer to honor their daughter Annika, Ani's Army Foundation was formed to raise money for the research of medulloblastoma tumors and other pediatric cancers, while making a positive impact on the community and helping those families in need. Here on the website, anisarmy.org, you can follow Ani's story, a story of strength and the love that her family has with her and she has with them as she fights this battle. Here on the website, if you can, please donate via Venmo, credit card, PayPal, cash, or check. Any donation is loved and any donation is appreciated. Thank you.
All right, back in here on the Straub Sports Show on the Facebook and YouTube page. Appreciate everybody for rocking with us today. If you are there, please do us a favor. Give us a like, give us a love, give us a follow, give us a sub, whatever it might be. Show us some love. Listen, I ain't want to do that. But yeah,
together.
I mean, I gotta see it, and it's wide open. I know we're
yeah.
supposed to be talking NFL, but that's where I was trying to get to about the Eastern Conference. This thing is wide open. If you got a chance to get a piece that could make this team next level, when you know who's possibly sitting on the other side, because here's the thing: if it's not Oklahoma City, it's a team that beat Oklahoma City. So if it is the Lakers, you know what they're getting in Luka. If it's Denver, you already know what Jokic is bringing. If it's Houston, you already know what Kevin Durant and the boys are bringing. So it's either way.
I got you.
All right, Drew, let's get to it. We had a big week in the NFL. We start with Thursday night.
Ooh.
Mr. London. Drake London had the career. I think if what I read is correct, he had like 46% of all of his fantasy points all time there in one game as the Falcons took down Baker and them boys 29-28. Bigger question here. Are we finally starting to see some of those pieces from the Falcons come together? Or is this more about the fact that these Buccaneers are falling apart in the second half of the season?
I mean, I think we can say both, right? Because we've known forever that this Falcons team has talent. Listen, the budding joke was it's Kyle Pitts' year every year. And listen, hey, obviously he hasn't been amazing, right, this year. The man had 166 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns, right? The talent is there. And obviously Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Darnell Mooney is still really good. Tyler Algier is a great backup running back. So the pieces have been there. And obviously we know that Kirk Cousins once a year has a insane game and then the next week just blows it up. And so that'll happen next week. But if we want to talk about the Buccaneers, I think you're absolutely right. This is a Buccaneers team that it doesn't seem like, even with the pieces back, it doesn't feel like they're on all cylinders. And so if they can make the playoffs, I think that eventually they're going to start clicking again and be better. But that's a real struggle right now, just seeing how disjointed this offense looks.
So I'm the showman sometimes here. I'm the character, the fiery takes, and you bring the smarts and I bring smarts, but you bring the analytical side. I also bring the old man to this podcast as well. I was clearly talking about Kyle Pitts, even though I said Drake London.
I knew what I meant.
We knew what I meant.
I know what you meant. I roll with it.
Okay, I appreciate that. There was a lot of flags, I will say.
Yeah.
My comments aren't working, and you took them off of the screen. So, but. And I will take, thank you. Help me here. One with the flags. Bijan is an absolute dog. But yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed in the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Everything was in your hand by just taking care of what you had to take care of, and they couldn't get it done. Let's get to Sunday.
We will talk about it though. They got help. So.
Oh yeah, they got some big help. This one was really disappointing. Ravens 24-0 over our guy Joey Burrow and the Bengals.
And we'll see it right on the screen here.
I gotta listen for all of the Fire Zach stuff, okay? And I get that, Coach. Joe Burrow played like shit. And we got to talk about, as I love Joe Burrow, okay? I love watching Joe Burrow play football. I think personally, if I was building a franchise, Joe Burrow would be my number one pick. You can argue with your aunts and uncles. I don't care. That's who I got. He didn't play well. He did not play well. And here's the thing, and I don't want to say he gave up, but with the stuff in the press conference and the stuff that's come out that basically if he's not having fun playing football, he's out of there or he might retire. At some point, if you're a team on the cusp or a team that's got a quarterback that's like 7 down, I might be calling Cincinnati and go, I'll give you a New Orleans type draft from back in the day to get Ricky Williams. I'll give you 7 first-round picks for the next 10 years, and you can have a great player. I want the generational quarterback because if this man retires, I'm going to throw a fit. But It's not great there. He's not in tune with his coach anymore. The defense is just absolute dog shit, and it's been dog shit for years now. So there's no excuses there. You've had years to build it up. I don't know what's going on there. I get it. The Ravens won the game. That's great. Lamar looked okay. I don't necessarily, because the Ravens have their own issues, but I'm just disappointed in this Bengals team. And yes, the leadership is awful, and they're one of the reasons they want to get that grade removed at the end of the year as well, because of how bad they're always. I don't know, but see, and I agree, Ray, they did overpay for that offense, but you know what? The whole point of having that scouting system when you have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins is go, give me some half-decent guys on defense, and we're going to be all right. They can't even get half-decent guys on defense.
I think that's the problem I think that Joe Burrow is having. And I can finally understand, right, what people when people look at the Browns and they go, get so-and-so out of there, he deserves better. Because you look at that Bengals team, right? You look at Jamar Chase, you look at T. Higgins, you look at Joe Burrow, and you go, those three deserve so much better than what they're getting, not just out of their defense, but out of their coach, out of their front office, out of their ownership, because you have to imagine they're looking at these headlines, they're looking at these statistics and their resume and going, how is no change being done to try to make this a winning team? Because listen, it's not like it's not like the problem with some teams where it's like it's a budding superstar and you want to give him and the coach some time to develop a rapport, and these are bona fide stud players that are going to be good no matter the coaching scheme, no matter the team. And so as the owners, right, of the Bengals, I know they're cheap, and I know they have weird ways of doing things. But if you're looking at this and you are putting in the money to sign these players, how are you continuing to put out a head coach and a coaching staff and a front office that is continually failing your star players? And I get it, because we've failed Myles Garrett and Joe Thomas for 20, 30 years now. And so I get it. And the writing's been on the wall for years now. And it's insane to me that it hasn't been done yet.
There's a reason, guys. I'll give this to Cleveland. At least in this last 5 to 7 years, guys have actually at least signed.
Yeah.
No one goes to Cincinnati. Guys leave Cincinnati. They hit on some generational guys because they're always in the top 5 of the draft for the most part. Then they hit on a Carson Palmer. Then they get a Chad Ochocinco. Then they draft and get Joe Burrow. Then they draft and get T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Like, they luck into this, and then these guys, they sign these guys to big contracts because at the end of the day, these guys are killing themselves on the field. Yes, they want to get paid. They deserve it, and they're trying to set up their generational wealth for their families. But then once guys want to win, they leave. They get the hell out of there. You're going to screw this up. I can't wait to see where Joe Burrow goes next, because I hope somebody gets in there before he does an Andrew Luck. Although Burrow's picking up the injuries like Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck's was a lot about injuries and not being able to live a healthy life outside of football. Joe Burrow's made the money now to set the family up. Not a lot, not as much. Well, I shouldn't say not a lot. Not as much as some of these guys have made, but he's made a lot. At some point, I mean, the man wants to be able to run around and live and walk. And you know what I mean? You keep getting him killed because you don't know how to put an offensive line around him, and you can't give him a defense that can keep him off the field or can get him back on the field. You're going to have a problem.
Hey, let's look at the Bears, right? You have Caleb Williams, a rookie quarterback that was struggling in his first year, didn't look great, but hey, we knew there was problems with the Bears, right? Ben Johnson comes in, signs not him, but the front office signs a very veteran offensive line and drafts a defense and some pieces around him in the offense. And look at that team.
Players everywhere.
And look at this. Now they're head of the NFC North. Like, it's not that hard. And especially, listen, the AFC North is not as good as the NFC North. If they did half of what Chicago did with the Bengals, that team would be running the AFC North right now.
Absolutely. All right, let's keep it rolling. We knew it was going to happen. Eagles
Yeah.
31-0 over the Raiders. Whatever. The Eagles are back.
I told you they were going to blow them out and feel good again. That's how that works.
Let's get to I mean, they're becoming a favorite in the AFC. Texans 40-10 over the Cardinals. Your punchy Cardinals were not so punchy. But it's time to start really paying attention to the Houston Texans.
Okay. When I meant punchy, I mean it's 20, by the way, 40-20. It's like you. They're gonna score points, but they're gonna give up more than they score. But that's what I mean. And so good on the Texans. They didn't fall for the trap game there. They're looking really, really good. Let me see them play some competent competition, and then I can give them the props of, okay, I'm excited to watch you in the playoffs.
All right. Now let's get to it. It was probably going to be the storyline of the week with the score line. But then what happened at the last or part of the game kind of dominated that as well. 16-13, Chargers over the Chiefs. That ends the Chiefs' hopes at the playoffs. That ends this Chiefs run. But bigger than that, Patrick Mahomes torn ACL. Drew, it's over. Not completely, but for this run, for what they had going, it is over. It's done. Travis Kelce's retiring. I mean, Andy Reid is 70 years old, and he did not coach well in this game and hasn't had a great season coaching. Mahomes is now done for the year, an 8 to 9 month basically timeline for this injury for an athlete nowadays. Is this over for the Chiefs? Are they going to be able to reopen this window? Because what I do want to remind everybody, and I was reminded by Nick Wright, not everybody loves him, but I did listen to some of the things he was saying because they were
I don't mind him.
Important. He is having this injury at about the same time that Tom Brady had the injury for the Patriots. We know, because we can look back, that after that injury from 2011 to 2018, that's one of the most dominant runs in NFL history. So we know it's possible for Mahomes. We've seen it done. Mahomes is basically on this track. There were 3 seasons in between the 2 runs for the Patriots in which the Patriots did not win a playoff game. One of those he was hurt. The other 2 they had lost. Is it over, or is there still hope there in Chiefs Kingdom?
I think the Chiefs are at a true inflection point in their dynasty, truly, where
Big word Tuesday.
Where you look at this team, right? And listen, I know we talk about how old the Chiefs are and everything like that. There are some very young, good talent there. Obviously, Mahomes is still pretty young. Pacheco and Hunt are still pretty much in their primes. The receiving core outside of Kelce is pretty young. Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, all very good, very, very talented players. But yeah, some new blood is needed. I think the biggest question that the Chiefs have to answer is, where do we get that new blood and how deep do we go? Because obviously it can start with Kelce and it can start with that defensive line. But it depending on how far you go, like you said, Andy Reid, pretty getting up there. The offense has looked very flat lately. Is that I need to get a new offensive coordinator kind of fix? Or is it I need a new head coach kind of fix? Now listen, I think Andy Reid has, in my honest opinion, earned himself the chance to retire there if he so wishes. But I think when you look at this offense, right, obviously this year was a letdown. It's not doom and gloom, right? This team, I don't think this team is absolutely. I think it's the opposite of that, right? I don't think that this team. I think this is just a down year for a good team. I think that changes need to be made, but in terms of how much, truly is decided by how bad they think this situation can get if they leave it going for too long.
I got the fix. You're right. Let's do it. We blow this up. The reason the Patriots dynasty was successful was, yes, they went out there and did the Bill Belichick win every day. but they always made sure the long-term winning was the most important goal. Hear me out. Blow it up in chalk next year. Let Patrick Mahomes know you may not see the field next year. I'm going to make sure you are 100% healthy. We are going to baby you through the offseason. We're going to baby you through, and we'll bring you back when you are 100% healthy. Not this Joe Burrow thing, okay? Not what Lamar does. Rest. And I'm blowing this thing up. I'm getting rid of Travis. I don't care if Kelsey wants back. You're gone. I'm going to try to get me a running back if I can in the draft. I'm going to try to draft me some offensive linemen. I'm going to suck next year. I'm going to get another top pick. I'm going to draft another top player. And then that next year, we're rolling back for another dynasty.
One, fair point. I think you're going to have to convince the fan base to watch losing after watching winning for 5 straight years.
They're the Chiefs. They're used to losing.
Not anymore. That's the issue. It's not anymore. The Patriots were used to losing. Not anymore.
I get it.
Also, I don't know. Like I said, while we talk about this team, there's talent all over this team. I don't want to disagree with him here, but listen, wide receivers I think are very good. I think a Xavier Worthy, Rashee Rice, and then add another receiver is a great receiving room.
Their running back room is one of the worst in the league.
I don't think that's on the running backs, if I'm being completely honest. Because if we look, right? Isaiah Pacheco last year was a leading rusher throughout the last year. And Kareem Hunt has always been a very good backup, like a second running back. He's
not anymore. Isaiah Pacheco's not a number one. He has to be a gadget guy, a guy that you bring in after a couple of drives. They got to go get them a home run guy. They got to go get them a guy at the running back position, and they've got to have depth on this offensive line too.
Yes,
you sure up those two things, and you're right back to it. So that's why I said if you need to hold off and sandbagging, all I'm doing is saying to my fans, oh, that would be devastating if they were to pick up somebody like
don't do that.
Jeremiah Love. But no, he needs to come back. All I'm telling my fan base is I'm not rushing back the guy we're comparing with Tom Brady. I'm making sure he's 100% healthy. If that's week 1, so be it. If that's week 13, then he's not playing until week 14. Sorry. We'll go 3 and whatever, and we'll get a top pick, and we'll draft a generational offensive lineman, and we'll be good to go, and we're here. So that's all I'm saying. We're getting down game by game. So I want to keep it.
I'll just say what I'm seeing real quick what I'm seeing is I've seen good running backs and good quarterbacks and good receivers struggle because of awful offensive line play. We see it with the Bengals. We just talked about it, right? I believe that room is talented enough that with a offensive coordinator that could scheme up some plays for them and a stronger offensive line, I think that running back room sees a resurgence. That's just my opinion.
I got you. I think it needs upgraded no matter what. I think the offensive line is number 1, but I think 1B is making sure that the running back room gets a little bit more talented and younger too. All right, let's keep it rolling. The showdown in New England. Bills storm back from a 21-0 deficit to take out the Patriots 35-31. Drew, they split the home and home. Both teams winning on the road. New England kind of dominated later in that first game. The Bills storm back and win this game. Number 1, if I don't see this rematch in the playoffs, I'll be disappointed. Number 2, did Josh Allen and the Bills finally remind everybody against a very good opponent? Yep, we still got that guy at center or behind center. And as long as we got Josh Allen, we run this.
This is the pure definition of a team that is good to great coming up against a team that knows how to win. And the Bills have The Bills had it themselves against the Chiefs. The Chiefs came up against it against the Tom Brady-led Buccaneers. 1,000 teams came up against the Tom Brady-led Patriots. You don't have to be better than the team across from you in most aspects. You have to be better in knowing how to win, and that's exactly what Buffalo did here. Because if we're being honest, right, if this game was in Foxborough week 5, week 6, anything before week 10, right, I'm giving it. And most likely New England wins this one, but we're getting down to it, and Buffalo needed a win to stay in the playoff race, and needed a win to keep the division kind of up for grabs. Buffalo wasn't losing this game, and that's what happened here.
I couldn't agree more. First of all, you're killing it today. You kind of stole my thunder because that's exactly. You saw a young team still kind of figuring it out, and we're late in the season. I mean, a lot. Guys could, they could lose this game and then make a huge tear through the playoffs. But
right,
the young guy under some real pressure now. Those game that game early on meant a lot, but there was no real pressure on the Patriots. It was, oh well, you're gonna get smacked. Are you ready? Are you ready? Now there's real pressure. There's standings on the line. There's division championships on the line. There's bigger stakes now, and Josh Allen, as we've seen, rise to the occasion. Excuse me. Let me make one more point, and then I do want to touch on Ray's comment because it is a good one. We'll backtrack a little bit before we skip forward. Here's the problem for the Bills. Throughout this run, we could probably, I don't even think it's hard to argue. Of this Bills run, this is the least talented Bills team. The problem for Josh Allen and the Bills is they got dumped out by Mahomes. He has yet to beat Lamar Jackson in the regular season. They've had these playoff runs with these very talented teams ending in heartbreaking fashion. This is the worst at this point, with as good as this Patriots team is. This is the worst Drake May is going to be. So if he doesn't get them now and he doesn't make this playoff run, when is it going to happen for the Bills? Because there's a reason we're all high on this Patriots team. It's a talented team. And we see how good Drake May is. We see this with quarterbacks. Drake May is going to be one of those guys in the NFL. We're watching it unfold. This is the worst he's going to be right now. When, if ever, are they going to do it? But do they have they need to get it done this year with the least talented team of this Bills run.
I think you're absolutely right. Because I think the Bills are looking at, I think as soon as they kind of are seeing Kansas City kind of flail out at this point, they go, oh, we can do this. The Broncos are beatable as long as you can kind of get some on their defense. Obviously, the Patriots are now beatable. The Steelers are the Steelers. This conference is beatable, especially if Buffalo looks how they did in this past one. And so I absolutely agree. Also, we can touch on that comment now because I have stats up right now.
All right. The problem with this is we're getting very long here, game by game. So I don't want this to derail the whole entire thing. So
look at the next 3 games. We can move on in 2 minutes in those games.
No, I know. And this is real quick because I do really like this because he wanted to backtrack because Ray had brought up that they're paying 3 guys way too much money. Burrow, Chase, Higgins make up around 45% of the Bengals salary cap this year. That's overpaying. Greg, our resident Bengals fan, you're not paying too much when you're keeping your best guys in the building. You don't pay 3 guys half of your salary. Another good point. Cousin Nate's just being a dick. 45% is not 50%.
Well,
it's damn near half. But go ahead. But you chime in with your stats before I chime in with my point.
Yeah, I will say the Bengals have the second highest paid trio out of all the NFL. The first being the Packers with Jordan Love, Micah Parsons, and Rashawn Gary being $2 million higher. That's a playoff team. And then right below them, just $7 million less, San Francisco with Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa, and Brandon Ayuk, another playoff team. And so it's not that the trio is getting too much. It's that one, they're all on offense. There's no defensive player that you're paying that amount of money. And two, even so, you're expected to be a playoff team when you're getting that thing, and that's the problem.
Right. If this was a playoff team struggling, we could then say, okay, do we need to shift things around? I agree with Ray's point, and that's why I'm critical of the Bengals. If you're going to dump that much money into those three guys who you guys can say are worth it, Ray says you need to shift the money around, you got to hit in the draft, and you have got to make sure that the guys that you're drafting on defense are good enough to win you to get you in the playoffs and let your because once you get to the play, teams are giving up 39, 48, 20, you're giving up points. There are no super lights out defenses anymore. That doesn't exist.
Right.
Get me to the playoffs, let my superstars win the game. They're not even doing that. But I do agree with this because and Ray does say fair point, well put. But this is also the point too, though. There is a GOAT in Tom Brady. Hell, even although Mahomes did take a big deal, it's still team friendly. If you want to really, really win, you've got to sacrifice some of your team money, make your money on the outside being a star quarterback. Although it also helps when you're married to a billionaire model who will make
you don't need the money.
Right? So you don't need the money. It's easy to leave that money at home when that generational wealth is right there. But that is also true.
I will say, and I actually messed up. The third highest player is not T. Higgins. It's Trey Hendrickson. And so I will say I may give Ray a point there, depending on if we're talking about, a fourth player, because that might eat up even more of what they're getting at. And maybe you say, okay, maybe T. Higgins on that contract isn't great. Also, I just wanted to put out here, at fourth is the Dallas Cowboys with Dak, CeeDee Lamb, and Kenny Clark.
Whatever. But I agree though. I agree with both points. There has to be some give and take. Now I will say this, because I'm going to agree with Ray here. With what I can see out of that offense, I can lose and replace T. Higgins. T. Higgins is great. I like T. Higgins a lot, but we're not giving up Jamar Chase. But I can replace Higgins and put some of that money on the defense. I can draft some young guys. I can pick up a guy off the waiver, or a waiver like his fantasy. I can pick up a free agent guy to fill that role. Put some money in the defense when it's this bad. All right, let's keep it moving. Jaguars 48-20 over the Jets. They're the Jets. They suck. However, Trevor Lawrence continues to produce right now.
No, he killed it. That was, and like I said, we know it's the Jets, but that was a great performance by him. And hey, a quarterback is sometimes all you need to make a good run. So if he stays like this, we'll see.
Jags could be dangerous. Washington 29-21 over the Giants. Don't care.
One I will say one thing to mention. Another concussion protocol check for Jackson Dart. And so, listen, man, someone's got to talk to him. Like at some point, it's not the coach, it's not the scheme. It's dude, get yourself out of danger.
100%. That's also very true, Ray. All of Ohio needs offensive linemen. Both the Browns and the Bengals. I love watching Jackson Dart play football. I think he's electric. I love the cockiness. I love all of it. Kid, you're gonna get yourself killed. And I can't even I've been critical of Washington. I've been critical of other teams when they do this with their quarterbacks. At some point, there's a different coach in there. He just keeps putting himself in a position to get hurt. And kid, you're gonna get hurt. These guys have been dreaming of the day of a quarterback who you all are protected to none the other, and you all can do no wrong. And there's no, in the box to hit a quarterback is this big. You're out here running like a running back, giving these guys free shots, and they're dreaming of those. And they're going to give you everything plus. Okay, you're getting Sean Taylor out there. You're getting Roy Williams, okay, for all my old school football guys. All right, and he's going to get himself continually hurt. So sit him down for the last couple of weeks until he can figure it out.
It's the reason Baker hurt his shoulder or his clavicle or whatever. It's not worth it.
No, not at all.
That's not your job.
Bears 31-3 over your Browns. I'm going to start on the good side. Caleb Williams looked amazing.
He did look really good.
That rollout throw to I can't remember his name right now. Wide receiver there.
DJ Moore.
Yeah, DJ Moore. That rollout throw to DJ Moore was just beautiful. Caleb Williams, as I've said week after week now, showing you why he was the number one pick and showing you the blueprint for a team that has been really bad for a while now.
Yes.
So how to get it together quickly and do it right. I mean, yes, they had the number one pick. They had the chance to draft that generational quarterback, but we've seen teams do it and screw it up. This is how you do it.
No, I think you're right. Also, on good news, Myles Garrett 1 sack, closer to the record.
Absolutely.
However,
a great back and forth with him and Caleb after the game. Caleb ran up to him and was like, "Man, I was not letting you get that on me." And some well wishes to him, and yeah.
Yeah, and also, screw you, Caleb Williams, for when he fumbled the ball, just kneeling down and giving himself up instead of allowing Myles to get the sack there.
I think that's what he was referencing to when he said, "I couldn't let you get it."
We also got to talk about. Listen, I know he made some good plays, and I know that one interception was Judy's fault. But not a great performance.
Pause. Jerry Jeudy, as I said last week when I ripped you apart, as I said the week that you got into it, Shador, when I ripped you apart, go the hell away. You suck.
Regardless, not an awful performance, but not a great performance. There was flashes, but there was some just miscues and some just lack of foresight on some of those throws that make you go, ugh. I need to get the decision making a little bit better.
You want me to be brutally honest, though? I mean, I'm not. You guys have a false start, a delay a game. You take a timeout. You come out of the timeout, and you still don't have the play in. Give you some.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's all on him. I'm just saying there's some.
And we have personal experience with this. So, because I mean, we do some broadcasting for a semi-pro team, pro advance. Now we started in the semi-pro level, but we up here now. We've been in on practices. We were at that first Rapids practice. I'm not going to name names. We saw our offense for the Rapids have like 5 consecutive delay of games because the coordinators could not get the play into the players. At some point, slow the damn thing down, shorten up the terminology for a minute, and get the damn play in. But
I agree. I'm just talking his play in general.
I'm also, dude, that's a rookie quarterback playing in Chicago in his first. Caleb didn't look good in Chicago his first couple starts. That weather was awful. I'm not going to put this as much on Shador. I am so tired of this coaching staff. I really am. And I'm watching, okay?
We all are.
But I want to see more out of Shador. It was not great, but that's a good Bears defense. That's a playoff team. I'm not mad that I'm losing to a playoff team. I'd be more mad.
I'm not mad that I'm losing to a playoff team. I'm mad that I scored 3 points against the Bears. That's the biggest problem here.
And listen, I understand, but we can't talk about the Bengals coach the whole time. But no, I agree with Greg though. A lot of this is the coaching there. Yes, and I've seen this too. Nobody would be comfortable behind that line. You get him some better support on the offensive line so that the kid can actually set up and make the throw. So you guys got stuff to get to. Let's keep rolling.
Carolina.
Fraud ass Panthers that I've been telling you about all year.
God, I wanted to prove you wrong so bad.
I know.
You have no idea.
Listen, my own team does that for me, okay? I get to pick on the teams that I know will also become frauds because I can't do it for myself with my own. New Orleans 20-17 over the Panthers. What you got?
Listen, it's a high and low of a very young, very okay NFL team. You have your highs where you look really good and you all sink, and then you have games where you're like this and you go, oh, okay. I don't think the Panthers are bad at any side. I think they're actually pretty okay, but you're gonna have games like this, and they're kind of like how the Bears were last year. You know what I mean? Where you're gonna win good games. You beat the Packers twice last year. But then you have really bad games where you go, man, if you're gonna beat the Packers, you should win this one. And I think that's how I feel about Carolina.
Tyler Show, 24 for 32, 272 yards and a tutty. I'm just saying. They may actually have a guy.
I called it. I liked him. I told you I liked him.
The Louisville quarterbacks, baby. This is the team to me that is the most disappointing in the NFC, but my team gets more hate.
Yeah.
Rams 41-34 over the Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions playoff chances fading.
Yeah, and I think it's in fact of the defense that we touted so well last year, just not living up to expectations. I know that the Rams are offensive juggernauts right now, but it's been a more of a season-long issue for these Lions. And so I don't blame the offense. The offense looks good. The offense looks in sync, but you're not going to give up 40 points and win many games.
No, you're not. Number one. Number two, I mean, they're not living up to expectations right now. I don't know if I don't want to say Dan Campbell's worn out on this team because they all love him. That's clear. It's just they seem to have a hard time getting rolling on offense. Once the offense rolls, I mean, it is as good as it gets in the NFL. But this defense, no. The problem is this defense was never truly a low points stout defense. It was a turnover defense that got takeaways and was able to give the ball back to the offense. Less takeaways, more points on the board. The offense can't keep up. You should win 34 in the NFL and win the game. Ask the Sunday night team. You should score 34 and win the game.
Ask the Sunday at 4 o'clock team.
Yeah, exactly. That should happen. So, no, now Detroit still has a chance, but I do want to address this comment. I do agree that it has been he was an issue, but when you look and they're breaking down the tape, it's not that he's holding on to the ball because he's holding on to the ball. He's holding on to the ball because he ain't got no time. Still has to clean it up. Still a lot of work to do, but I still think the jury is out on Shedeur. Detroit, still a chance, but at this point, they've got to win out. I didn't think we were going to talk much about this game, but we have to.
Yes.
Seahawks 18-16 over Phillip Rivers and the Colts. 44-year-old Phillip Rivers throws him a tutty, celebrates like me, like an old man who can't bend over too much because it might hurt. I loved it. I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. My problem is it's twofold for this game. Number one, Colts should have tried to get somebody. I love what Phillips is doing, but they should have tried to get somebody else because this defense is good. They've got a running game. They just need a guy to make completions. Now, I know this Seahawks team defense is really good, but I, over here on this side, have not been high on this Seahawks team for this reason. At the end of the day, during the regular season, you're going to win some games some weeks because some of these teams aren't good and they're not trying. When it comes down to it and you're playing a team that's tough and it's good, Sam Darnold's going to come through like Sam Darnold comes through. And it ain't good enough. He's just not that guy. He could be good. And we address this. Absolutely. I love Cam, and I've been watching a lot of Cam's show and a lot of Cam's clips. We saw Cam couldn't throw the ball anymore. Phillip Rivers shouldn't be out there either. I'm not excusing this, but somebody else, somebody a little younger, trade for somebody if you got to, damn it. Call for Flacco. I don't know.
Dylan Gabriel's available.
There's just not, and it's not just one play though, but no, he's talking Shedeur. I'm sorry. Or I'm not actually sure. I'm all confused.
He is, I think.
The Seahawks, it's just not. That's why I like the Rams better. And I know Devontae Adams got hurt. There's reports from the Rams camp that he still might play Thursday against the Seahawks. I would sit him, but that's irrelevant. That's why we like the Rams more because I know they can score points. I don't know in a big game against a good defense if the Seahawks can score enough points to win. I mean, they scored 18. They got a lot out of their kicker. That's not good enough all the way through.
No, you're absolutely right. And they're in better shape than I think Minnesota is because I think they have a better defense than Minnesota. But I think they're going to fall into the same trap as Minnesota where you go, okay, defense is playing good but not great. Hey, Sam, let's get moving. And he just can't do it. And so that's just kind of where you're at. And I think we've all known how the Seahawks team, what it was and what it was going to be because we saw how the Vikings were last year.
The other problem for the Seahawks is if you shut down Jackson Smith and Jigba, that's it. That's done.
Yeah.
Kenneth Gainwell and my other guy in the backfield have not been great. Charbonnet have not been good at all this year.
They also both didn't run the ball more than like 9 times a piece, which I mean, you got to establish the run at some point.
I do understand that, but as a season, they have not produced very well.
Correct.
And like I said, Sam Darnold is Sam Darnold. I know they got Sheed in there, but he's been struggling to really, really, truly get in there. But we'll see. Where's Cuzzo?
The karma Jerry Jeudy.
Karma got me. Yeah, first of all, yeah, Jerry Jeudy is in fact that. Broncos 34-26 over the Packers. The bigger news coming out of that game, Michael Parsons probably done for the year with an ACL tear there. Listen, all the shit talking aside, one thing we don't root for is injuries. Not that we should say especially the top guys, but it also especially hurts when it's a top guy.
Yeah.
So all the best to Micah. He's young. Hopefully he can get back ASAP, heal up, and still be that explosive player. But nonetheless, the Broncos, 34-26 over the Packers. We've been we've been critical of Bo Nix. Everybody's been critical of Bo Nix. Bo Nix gave us a big mile-high middle finger and said, see me in the playoffs.
No, you're right. And I want to address it's just brutal for the Packers because they got Parsons for the playoffs. You know what I mean? The regular season, they were pretty sure they were set. And so it's going to be basically like last year. But no, talking on the Broncos, I said, regardless of how the score was going to be, if the Broncos won this game, I was going to take them seriously because this Packers team was hot. And listen, 26 points against that Broncos defense is no joke. That's a really good effort. You put up 34 against a good Packers defense and stop them, you're a legit team in my opinion. And I am now on the Broncos train because you have finally beaten a team that maybe was a little shaky at the start of the season, but has really come on strong, and you put that out.
There was a play in that game that not only flipped the game, but it potentially could be something.
Sorry. It was funny.
Oh, that is great because he wouldn't. He wouldn't be a number one with 4 hands because he would drop through one and then he'd fumble it with the second set. There was a play in that game. Packers go back to throw it unnecessarily. It wasn't needed. They go up for an interception, and on that play, the wide receiver gets hurt. Packers were in control of that game. 45 minutes later, game time, real time wise, Micah Parsons gets hurt. From that interception, you felt the momentum flip in that game, and you basically were like, oh yeah, Broncos. I think the Broncos are going to win this game, regardless of what the score was at the time. So there's a changing point in that game was right there on that play. Wide receiver goes down, we get the interception. Yeah, man, I got to listen. The defense is as good as this Broncos defense has been, and it's been elite all year. In this modern NFL, there are going to be games where you're going to give up 24 plus points, period, end of story. That's just how the game goes. Bo Nix and the offense finally were able to walk into that locker room and let the defense know, we got you on those weeks. Don't worry. Mm-hmm. And that's scary for the rest of the league. San Francisco, 37-24 over the Tennessee Titans. Giving up, I know Nate had made a comment about letting the Jets score 20, but giving up 24 to the Titans is wow. However, when you hang almost 40 up, you're going to probably win that game. San Francisco, here's the scary part about the NFC. Most likely, you're going to be hosting a wild card winner that includes San Francisco, Seattle, or the Rams.
Yeah,
that sucks.
I will want to say, though, in the past 5 weeks, the Titans have put up 24 against the 49ers, 24 against the Seahawks, and 20 against the Chargers. I think this offense is starting to figure it out, which is I'm very happy about because I want to see Cam Ward do well. And so I think, hey, like, listen, I think this team's going to be okay. They just need a time to gel. But yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. The fact that a potential like 8-8 Buccaneers team is going to have to host like an 11-6, a 12-5 San Francisco team is insane.
I will absolutely wish you no luck. Go Bears.
By the way,
yeah.
Ray, I am officially out of every playoff now. I lost all 3 games. It's brutal. Remember when I said my teams suck? I didn't just mean the teams I root for.
I stopped checking weeks ago. Let's get to the Sunday night
you were
game.
bad.
JJ McCarthy and them boys, 34 in the Vikings, 34-26 over my Cowboys. I'm just gonna reference back to the preseason when everyone asked me about this team. I said we were going to score lots of points, we were going to give up lots of points, and we was going to be fun, but we were going to lose. This just proved it. The JJ McCarthy, I'll give my cousin credit. He said this at work to laugh at us. The JJ McCarthy experiment is back on in Minnesota because we made him look like a first-round pick again.
Yeah, that was not, dude.
It's awful. This defense is back to absolutely sucking again. I don't know what the hell the problem is. I mean, the offense scored 26 points. I mean, that's not terrible.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. This defense could not stop probably half of the college football playoffs. I just, yeah.
No, and unfortunately you are going to have to suffer through Thursday. But and then it'll be the last time we do it. No, and listen, hey, you know your draft outline. You know it. You know it by heart. It is, hey, defensive line, cornerback, safety, linebacker.
Yeah. Throwing an offensive lineman for the hell of it.
Best available defense on the board. Thank you. You're coming to my team.
And here, yep, yeah, go ahead, talk your shit. Yep, that's fine. You'll be sitting in January right next to me watching the Super Bowl at home, Packer fans. Monday night, a sluggish one to start.
Yeah,
but it did kind of finally get rolling. That 15 is very, very ugly at the end of garbage time. But Steelers over the Dolphins, 28-15. Man, screw you, Ray.
Yeah,
you got Myles Garrett. I don't have Micah Parsons anymore. So, the Steelers took a minute for that offense to get rolling. Then it got rolling. They went up big. Dolphins, like I said, in garbage time, trying to scrape some points and destroy my almost on the parlay. We almost won a grand last night, but we won't talk about that.
The fact that
I would rather
make the playoffs. The fact that one of these teams is going to make the playoffs is just atrocious. Listen, the defense for Pittsburgh is good enough at times, and then that is crazy. And then the offense is sometimes okay. The fact, you wait until literally right before halftime to score your first points in the game against an atrocious Miami defense. They're probably going to make the playoffs, but Jesus, man, I said it before, and I wish Dan was here to talk about it. It is the same thing every year. They're just going to be good enough to sneak into the playoffs, and then they're going to get blown out by 40 by whoever they host. It's natural.
100% correct. This is an awesome stat. Pittsburgh hasn't lost a Monday night game in over 20 years and hasn't lost at home since 91. That's a wild stat on Monday night. Cuzzo killing it with that, and then Ray comes back in and kills it with his own stat, which is equally as awesome but hilarious. Tua has also never won a game that has started at 40 degrees or lower. I think the better news coming out of this game was Mike McDaniels at the podium basically saying Tua's job's on the line and he could potentially not be the starter anymore. I think the Dolphins the Dolphins, for as much incompetence as they've had over the last 20 years, I think they actually played this situation correctly. They didn't dump Tua out. They said, here's the rest of the year. It's all you. It's all yours. Show us what you have as an NFL quarterback.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
What he's shown is, and I know Ray's making a joke about the brain damage, but what he's shown me is that he is an NFL quarterback that could be good and shows great flashes, but he doesn't look like he can actually stay in the pocket and step up to make the throws because he's scared to get hit. On top of the fact that that was part of his issue to begin with, was missing those throws. You coupled both things together, and I think it's over in Miami for Tua.
No, I think you're absolutely right.
And I think it might be over as a starter as well.
Yeah, I mean, Miami has also set them up for a potential success with two quarterbacks that are now given time to learn the system and get used to NFL. Listen, I know we dogged Zach Wilson forever. He could just easily have the same storyline as a Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones, where he just struggled in his situation and to get up to NFL speed. But now that he is up to NFL speed, he could be a lot better. And then you have Quinn Ewers, who is now just taking that time, learning the NFL, learning the system. And so I think they did a great job where they went, hey, Tua, we're going to give you the season, but if we don't like what we see, this is an open job. And so we'll see what happens. I think Miami has a lot to analyze and look over in the offseason and then going in, but I think that they have a bunch of options, including the draft, to better themselves because the offense is talented.
I also really agree with this. And all jokes aside, that's the problem. There was a hit like that during that game. Every time that man's helmet goes anywhere near the ground on a sack, on a tackle, I'm nervous he's not going to get up.
Yeah.
And that's going to wait.
Where he has fallen, not gotten hit in the head, and was slow to get up.
I also can agree with that. A wonderful Jameis Winston type, but the problem is still, and that's going to weigh on teams' minds. The reason the Dolphins are allowing it is because they have love for Tua. They drafted him. They believe in him in the organization. That's their guy. We're going to ride or die with our guy. Another team sitting back and watching this going, man, I don't know. Like, I don't want to be the guy that signs the quarterback that dies on the field. But
you're right.
All right. I'm out.
Oh, wait. Nothing has changed. Just that Denver and LA have both clinched the playoffs, not their divisions yet, but they've clinched the playoffs. Obviously, multiple teams I will show this week have a chance to clinch as well. Detroit, Carolina, and Indy not doing themselves any favor in the hunt. Looking more and more likely that Ken's prediction of nothing will change in the playoff picture will come true.
First time since, and it gives validation to this Chiefs run. This is the first time since 1998 that Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, or Patrick Mahomes will not be in the NFL playoffs.
I hate that stat if I'm being completely honest.
Me too.
It's the first time in its inception that a quarterback not have a K in his name on a, you know what I mean? It's given one of those ESPN stats to me. I just don't like it.
I got you. And no, I would not be happy if I'm the Texans right now. But still a dangerous team. All right, Drew, let's finish up with some footy.
Absolutely. Interesting games here. We'll start.
Pause.
Yeah.
Closer we get to the NFL draft, yes, we will.
Yeah. We'll start off with some of the light ones. I would say convincingly beat Everton, but I still wasn't happy with the performance. 2-0, we move on. Manchester City proved, like I wasn't sure what was going to happen, but they proved they are fully at full strength. 3-0 win at Sellers Park against Crystal Palace. Sunderland with a great win, an own goal against their rival Newcastle at the Stadium of Lights. Amazing game, by the way. Amazing scenes.
Please, just go to your TikTok, your Instagram, and just search Sunderland. All of the new stuff that will come up will be from this weekend's game. Scenes, goosebumps. The reason me and Drew do this segment was this game right here. Sorry, Pops, that your Newcastle team lost, and especially to their biggest rivals. Let's real quick. How big is this rivalry? Sunderland wouldn't even type in Newcastle's name on the scoreboard. They wrote in visitor. Okay. And that's not, oh, it's always like that. It just says visitors. No, they wrote in visitor. They would not even type out the word Newcastle. Secondly, the scenes at the Stadium of Light. Those fans, English fans, have songs. I could sit here for 2 hours and explain to you why or how, and I still wouldn't make sense. Sunderland's fans sing Falling in Love with You. They let the broadcast, the announcer stop talking. They let the fans sing it before the game. They sing it through the game. They sang it after for like an hour sitting around in the stadium. Just an amazing atmosphere, amazing game. And then, because we don't have any proper derbies anymore, and it's all handshakes and jersey swaps. 2 years ago, or was it last year? Don't remember. Newcastle beat Sunderland in the FA Cup. They went and took a picture in front of their home fans. It's not something you really do unless it's a very big cup win. What did Sunderland do after the win against Newcastle? They marched right out on the field and took a photo with their fans and posted it. That's loved it. Loved it.
You took the words right out of my mouth there. And again, Sunderland team, very impressive so far this season. And now we get to a game where I had to text Ken and go, what happened? Bournemouth 4, Manchester United 4. Ken, I'm going to ask you again, what happened?
Okay. I'm going to tell you the first thing that I thought when the final whistle blew. Holy shit, that was an amazing game. Because from a neutral perspective, or even just somebody who loves this game as much as I do, that was an amazing game. That is the most shots on goal, touches in the opposing half without penalty kicks all year in the Premier League. Yeah. We stormed ahead 1-0. Then they scored. Then we tied it at 2. We then scored 2 more to go up 4-3. Then we give one up late. It was a mess of a game. However, because I wasn't in and out of watching a Monday Manchester United game, I was locked in. The thing that I take out of this game for me is, and I know Tim Howard after the game, I just love when American, although I do it myself, but I'm going to sound like an absolute hypocrite. How I love when an American gives me his opinion after a game, even though I'm doing it. He said something has to change tactically with Ruben Amorim because this team is giving up too many goals. My counter to that is this is a game we do not win last year. This is a game that once it's tied, Bournemouth scores 2 more goals, we lose 4-2. This team showed some resolve. My captain hit an amazing free kick and fired up Old Trafford in a way that I haven't seen fired up in a long time. Last year, anytime this team got momentum, they lost. This year, what is happening is every time this team gets to the cusp of something, whether it was the cusp of being in that 6-7 range and getting out of that 8 through 10 spot, we stumble, we draw, then we get back up. Now we're up here. We had a chance to go into tied for 5th with you, and we stumble, but we didn't lose. That to me is the progress. Yes, this team isn't necessarily 100% matching expectations, but they're not losing. And Nate's been messing with me about the draws, but they're not losses. And at the end of the day, Drew, you know this, when you're building and you're trying to rebuild this thing back up, that's when you see the change. Okay, we're not, because like I said, this is not a game we win last year. This is not a game we get a point out of. We lose this game. So to at least stand on it and get a point, I know we look dejected after the game. I know we want, and listen, I know nobody wanted them 3 points. Those 13 guys on the field, the manager, those coaches, than me. Okay. There's progress.
No, I absolutely agree. And listen, I know exactly how you feel. Those draws against City and Liverpool and Arsenal last year gave me hope because it went, okay, these are the games we lose last year, and we came back and we, and so I absolutely agree with you. However, some concerning comments from your star man Bruno Fernandez about the backing. We'll see kind of how that plays out there. I just listen, show your man some love. All right, you know what I mean? As a show.
I mean, you're only talking to a couple people here. He gave an interview with a Portugal TV show, newspaper, whatever, and basically said that the fans loved him, the manager loves him, but he doesn't feel like the club loved him, and the club, he felt like that if he was to leave, the club would feel like they were okay. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. I'll stand on that, but we'll see. This probably does mean that the relationship is probably fractured at some point, and we'll see if amends can be made. The problem with this ownership group is they have wanted to clean house. So one of the problems has been we haven't cleared a lot of money on our books. So that's a big salary to dump if they were to, but I would be what you were replacing.
That's a heartbeat, man.
Yeah. So right now, absolutely not. But hey, like I said, I could have come out of this just absolutely dejected, but I'm not. First of all, it was an amazing game. Great game. The best game of the week. Maybe one of the best games of the year. It was amazing. Go back and rewatch it. I have. But I'm a glutton for punishment. But things to build on. Yes. Our Wrexham update from our resident Wrexham guy, Ray. Can't get off the draws, but
I was going to say, you had 2 straight automatic promotions, right? This is okay. You know what I mean? Most teams, when they do that, go right back down a level. You're mid-table. You're still working on it. You're figuring out what works at the championship level and what doesn't. Stay mid-table. Make the run next year. By the way, Haji Wright's Coventry and Aidan Morris's Middlesbrough running away with the automatic qualifiers in the championship right now. So might see them in the Prem next year.
Are we tapped out on Americans abroad this year?
Listen, it's World Cup. I don't care who scores. I don't care who assists. Stay healthy.
Speaking of which, Tyler Adams went off 3 minutes in.
Most likely a sprained MCL. That's anything from a week to 3 months, depending on the severity. No update has been given. Obviously, they'll probably give it later in the week on when they're actually for sure. But just stay healthy. That's all I ask.
It wasn't my fault, U.S.
It is your fault.
Team fans.
It is your fault.
I won't tell you what I said.
I won't tell you what I said. Thank you. And because Ken requested it early, even though I was going to give it at the start of the year, we have our Premier League table. And listen, some changes, but also I think the biggest story here, that gap mightily closed from the last time we talked about it. Arsenal sitting only 2 points above Manchester City. Aston Villa continues their amazing run from the bottom of the table back up to the top. I told you this team was turning around. My Chelsea stabilize with the win, keeping themselves in 4th. And then you have a 4-way tie with Crystal Palace, United, Liverpool, and Sunderland for that last spot or last 2 spots in Europe. So
two of those teams you're used to. 2 of those teams you're used to. 2 of those teams were not. We will absolutely. And see, that's why 6 is my guy. We will absolutely talk about more of that on Thursday. But yes, and then lowly at the bottom, Wolves going down, Burnley trying to struggle and stay up, West Ham desperately needing points to try to close that gap on Leeds and Forest. I'm out.
I will say Wolves has not gained a point in between the 2 graphics, and that was a month apart. That was the last international break that I put that up. That Wolves team, hey, listen, the only good thing about that Wolves team is they're going to make a lot of money when they sell Strand Larson in the summer or potentially in January.
Absolutely. Sell them in January to me. All right. That'll do it for us here on the Straub Sports Show. Little long today, but we threw in the hoops. Thursday show, college football playoffs, NFL weekend, EPL weekend. Short and sweet because we got a lot to talk about. Appreciate everybody for tapping in with us today. Drew, give your final shout outs.
Yeah, I actually had some and then just completely that's what it was. Well, first, thank you all liking, just commenting, viewing, whatever. However you support this podcast. I don't know. I'm off today.
Man's falling apart like me at the end of shows normally.
I'm off today. What I was going to say is that I don't know. Honestly, you know what? Completely blanked it. Love you all. Love you, Nate. Fell apart here. I'll tell Ken to tweet it out later.
Fine. Well, I'll take care of it on the back end. Pops, appreciate you. As always, don't worry about being late. Mama, love you as well. Oos, appreciate you. Appreciate everybody. My guy Six for tapping in. Everybody who, Coach Greg, everybody rocking with us as always. Do us a favor on your way out. Throw us a like, throw us a love, throw us a subscription or a sub on YouTube, a like and a follow on Facebook. Wherever you're tapping in with us today, give us some love and some shout outs. And we appreciate you. And Ray, my guy, killing it in the comments as always today. Always appreciate you, my brother. That's my A1 since day one. That's my keeper right there. Thank you all. Take a break off. Take a day off tomorrow. I'll be over across the street over here at Brewbakers, helping one of our charity events for the Falls Rapids. So if you're in the Stowe area, stop over at the Brewbakers. Come support a good cause. Little charity event going on. I'll have Coach Jamal with me from the Rapids, and I'll have Rapids owner Daniel Demand in the building as well. And then, yes, everyone who gives us hearts on YouTube, we cannot see it, but don't stop. Just because we can't see it here doesn't mean that we don't appreciate them. So, all good. You figured out your shout out.
Not even a shout out, just a mention. Because we talked about him on the show, and he was obviously a finalist for the Gunslinger Award. Drew Mestemaker announces he will most likely enter the transfer portal, find a team. Going to be interesting to see where he goes because the kid's a baller. Also, sad news. My beloved quarterback, Brandon Sorsby, will also be entering the transfer portal. He will not be going to the draft. Again, my sports teams suck. I know it. I hate it. It's fine.
Absolutely. Oh, shout out to my girl, Paul, in the building as well. We love you very much. Thank you, everybody. We love all of you. We appreciate all of you as well. That'll do it for us here. We'll see you Thursday for a big college football playoff review. For little bro Drew, I'm big bro Ken. Signing off. We'll see you Thursday. And please remember to go ahead, bro.
Love yours.
Ken's got fire and a wild hot take. Andrew's stats make the whole place shake. Laughing loud when your team goes down. Straub boys run this sports town. STRAUB, two loud mouths and a love for the league. From Cleveland roots to the world we go. This is the Straub Bro Sports Show. This is the Straub Bro Sports Show. Sundays, Mondays, we live for the fight. College game day and Thursday night. Rivals fall and the banter flies. We bleed our teams till the day we die.